Good evening, YouTube. This is Kaylin String coming at you with my regular Sunday night dinner, and I do apologize for that. I had set it to horizontal, but as soon as I went to put it in my phone mount so that I could capture the thumbnail, it went live, and I'm having the same issue that Smokey had last night. It locked the screen or locked the orientation to vertical. But I'm just going to carry on with it. And we'll just have to see how it goes. But what you're looking at is a third of the Sopacko low sodium civilian rations. Date code is upside down. 8192. So this is like the other three were packed in 2018. And this one happens to be the beef ravioli. And it has the soy protein stuff added to it. So this is the pouch with the beef ravioli in it. Got the same accessory packet. Got the Pop-Tart, which went in at an angle. Two strawberry jams. One will get used, one not. Another squished Tootsie Roll. And my chat is sideways. So it's going to be very hard to read it. I do apologize in advance for that. Got the flameless ration heater, which I do not use. Because I'm at home and I can get away with not using it, but I save all these for a time where I may have to use these. Got my favorite crackers again, the vegetable. And only one Tootsie Roll this time, not two. And then this is the sleeve that has all the nutritional info and the super long list of ingredients for the ravioli. And as usual with these rations, no drink options. So I got my second Polish hydrotonic drink powder, which will go into the drinking jar. And then for my hot drink option, I decided to get one of my tea bags out of here. It says Katepa Pride. Well, it doesn't want to focus. I don't know, but that's going into my delicious mug. My camera angle is still a bit off. But I'll fix that. I just wanted to empty this little bottle that I've been using for a long time into my drinking jar. And I see my phone got disconnected from my power bank, so let me fix that as well. I want to try. Okay, I can see the chat if I rotate it. Horizontal, but then I cannot. It'll just tell me to rotate it back. So I just wanted to try that as an experiment just to see what would happen. I think we'll just have to go with this. Get the FRH out of the way. You got this commercial grade bulk purchased accessory pack that would be like any other you get from a wholesale catering supplier. Got salt and pepper, the spoon, the napkin, and this salt-free seasoning blend. And that's what you get in that. That's all you get with these. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in the pot in the kitchen. Then I will be back with the water for my Kenyan tea. Sorry about that. This position is not exactly ideal. I'm going to be bumping into it quite a bit. But I poured that water off camera. Just because I wanted to get the kettle back out of my way. Now I'm going to give this a stir again because it needs it. Again, I apologize for this totally inappropriate orientation because I'm having the same issue that Smokey did with not being able to keep the orientation after I set it. And this Pop-Tart, completely unmarked bag, but you can tell what it is. Commercial bulk packaging, double stack. Just like the last time. And just like last time, it looks like that. The strawberry filling has literally permeated through. The frosting layer and the underside. That is what the frosting is supposed to look like. I tried to get it to focus, but this thing is pretty misshapen, just like the last two. This one may have even had a little bit more heat stress because it almost has melted to the wrapper. Still tastes good though. There's a bit of a hiss, but sometimes these things don't always pull the whole way across like you would want them to. That's the top side of the cracker. This is the underside. One of them broke, but that's okay. And got two of these strawberry jams. I'm going to use one Now I'm going to go back into the kitchen and get the ravioli. I want to fix this just a hair. There we go. I'll be right back. I am back. I'm going to dry this off with a paper towel. I'm going to get this back in the kitchen just to get it out of the way. And for those just coming in, again, I'm having the same issue that Smokey did. I set my orientation, but YouTube wants it vertical, and this does not work when you're reviewing items. Unless you get it super far away where no one can really see anything. Trying to get all the sauce out. I'm going to call that good enough. These are mini raviolis. And some of the sauce got on the cracker, but that's okay. Put the parm on there. The sauces on these are sweet, and they should not be. There's a place for sweet pasta sauces, and this is not one of them. Putting that parm on definitely helps. These would be like the same mini raviolis you might get in a Chef Boyardee can or a similar brand. The sauce has meat and a textured vegetable protein, which is soybean based. It's probably cheaper to use that than to add additional meat in order to jack up the protein. The strawberry jam is pretty runny in some. See, it's brown. I might have to actually move the tray this way. There we go. I think that'll work. Yeah, I actually slid the whole table over. So that should make things a little bit more clear. The strawberry jam does not go well with the vegetable crackers, but I think it'd be better to put it on the Pop-Tart. Or I could do this. Now that's actually too savory for something sweet like the jam. Excuse me. Sorry about that. That's just a bubble, which I just took the tea bag out of the tea. The Katepa tea originates from Kenya. I get it. I get it at Hillel Groceries, or if it's been around a little too long, and you want to change things up, refresh stuff at the mosque, then instead of throwing it away, I bring it home. So even though this has been heat stressed, it hasn't affect it has not affected the taste of the entree. It's just too sweet unless you add something to it. Again, this is a lemon drink from Poland. Speaking of these low sodium rations, someone had commented on my post that I put up earlier today that Sopacko has cut the number in the case from 14 down to 12, which would be the same number of ration bags as you get in a in a standard MRE case. When you're getting the mil spec MREs. So I don't know if that is an additional cost-saving measure, or if it's a supply issue, or what the deal is with that. Let's see, I'm gonna go back through the chat, although it's hard for me to read it when it's horizontal, when it's vertical like this. See, Emphos is here, Spicy Tuna Rolls is here, Robert is here. There may be others who have not commented yet. But thanks for dropping in. I have ordered some US MREs from a company called Emery House. They're kind of like the same line of Emery Mountain. And I ordered what they called their random lot of 4. So I have no idea what menus are going to come, but they're supposed to arrive sometime this week. Now we'll see how that holds up. Just gives you a close-up look at the ravioli in the sauce with the Parmesan cheese melted into it. And just like Emery Empire and Emery Mountain, this Emery House site sells a few of what they call survival items. It's relatively new, but I saw a couple of things in there that I thought would be good additions to my preps, and plus one is a replacement for something that I had several years ago, but I gave to a group as a donation to them so that they could use it for outdoor shower or decontamination. Just depending on what they were doing. This is for some large group activities. So I gave them the camp shower that I had. It was like, I think a 10-gallon, or maybe, I don't remember the capacity of the bag. Maybe it was just like a 5-gallon. But what they had was 2 different models of a 20-gallon camp shower bag. And then for only $10 more, you can get double the capacity. So that's what I did. Let's open up this double stack. And you can see the red all through there. It's just fused into one. It's some of the strawberry jam on the strawberry double stack Pop-Tart. Booger Butt and Mike Crusher have dropped in. And I was forced to do my stream vertical because I'd set it to horizontal, and then when I went to get it to take the thumbnail or allow me to upload a thumbnail, even though I had my phone positioned the way I wanted it, it changed it back to vertical, or it said you have to rotate your phone before the stream would begin, so that's what I had to do. And DeCarlos Perry is here. Thanks for dropping in. And this is 2018 reduced sodium beef ravioli. Now you would not see this soy protein, this textured soy protein in the title in the mil-spec MRE, but they do in these. This is a reduced calorie as well as reduced sodium. And you get no drink options with this. A lot of the items are repeats in these. You may get a different jam or jelly. This one happens to be strawberry, but it could be apple. But the three that I have had, this is the third one, they have been the strawberry Pop-Tarts, see that bit of white right there? That is what the frosting is supposed to look like. But with the heat stress and being compacted, that filling has literally permeated throughout. And because these are vegetable crackers, the strawberry jam just doesn't work. So it's going on the Pop-Tarts. So I added Parmesan cheese to this because the sauce itself is way too sweet. Again, sorry about the phone shaking. I've had to reposition it so that I could get at least a good portion of my tray in view. And you can see my drinks. Polish lemon isotonic drink in a drinking jar. And then in the delicious mug, I kept the tea bag out instead of putting it in my trash, but Katepa Pride from Kenya. I happen to like that tea. I like the flavor of it. And since I had some, I decided to go with something different for tonight. I have a few more MREs on the way. These are mil-spec. And because this is a random, I don't know what menus I'm going to get. But again, this is a test order from amoryhouse.com. I do like the vegetable crackers. It gives a little bit of crunch to the sauce, gives a little flavor. Now, if this was a plain cracker, then yeah, I probably would have put the strawberry jam on it. But that just doesn't work with the vegetable crackers. The crackers are actually very good considering the heat stress this ration has taken. Especially since, the first week of April, plus a few days, my apartment had to be superheated in order to help the drying process after it got flooded on March 31st. What a way to start the last 10 days of Ramadan. But it was a good test as far as prepping goes. And it's letting me see again how crazy the insurance system is, because I have left another message. In fact, I left a message before I left on my trip. And I will probably leave an additional one. Plus, I have a number I can text. But I have not heard anything back. So I don't know how long this is going to drag out, because I can't get rid of things that are not restorable. I mean, I have pictures, but I don't want to get rid of anything yet. And I don't know what else I can do with other things that were in here but not really affected. I don't know if I'm going to get anything else from the property management company, since another person caused it. Heat stress Tootsie Roll. It's still edible. It just takes a lot of effort to get the Tootsie Mash from this cardboard thing. And my chat is sideways on here. It's hard to read sideways because I've had to go with the vertical orientation, and the chat did not change direction. Yeah, my phone mount is unsteady, so I do apologize for that, but it's hard to read the chat when it's sideways. And I really don't want to rotate my phone just to read the chat, so. Yeah, it may look nasty, but it's still very delicious. That little curl that came off as I pulled it out of the wrapper was from where it actually had started to stick to the inside of the wrapper. I nibbled that, and that's perfectly fine. It's just going to take a little effort to get it off of there. And I'll just do that off camera. That strawberry jam on the Pop-Tart, that works. It sent 2 of these strawberry jams. This other one I'll save for another time. But I do like having the vegetable crackers in here. A little something savory with some actual flavor. And this mug, courtesy of Delicious, our Polish brother. A few others have gotten these mugs from him. So that's a shameless plug for his channel. Because why not? I like putting this on this vegetable cracker. Gives it a little crunch and a little more flavor. Wow, that is awesome. You guys got a new camera. Should work out well for your upcoming videos and streams. I bet LJ is just as happy to see it as you are, if he's not watching right now. That strawberry jam does cut through the dryness of the Pop-Tart crust. That I do like. I'm not sure who you're asking that to, DeCarlos. I guess asking Dave that. But yeah, that's awesome that you got a new camera to play with, and I hope it works well for you. And that it'll make your videos and streams come out even better. Now these Polish drinks, although they're isotonic, they don't taste a whole lot like it. They do taste kind of like a Gatorade, a somewhat similar flavor, or maybe like a Powerade, something along that line. And these newer Polish drinks are actually not bad. This is the last one of this particular type that I had. At least that I had easy access to. My box that I have a lot of my other ration components in is buried underneath a whole bunch of other stuff. Multi-Magnum is here. Thanks for dropping in. Sorry, I had to go vertical with this, and the chat is sideways on my screen. This is a 2018 pack, like the other two reduced sodium rations that I got from this lot that I got a couple months ago. I've been doing a few other things. I did a few others before I got to those, and then I switched it up between those and some of the other rations that I have. And because last Sunday I was at camp, I obviously was not going to be able to stream because signal out there is spotty at best. I managed to get off a short from the lake, but it took so long, even with my hotspot, for it to upload that it did not actually show up until the next day. That's how long it took that short of the turkey vultures over Lake Icaria to upload. Then I managed to put up a few pictures, but the other two videos I waited till after I got home to upload those. And the one of the birds, there are 3 segments that I pieced together before I uploaded that. And I have no fish pictures because I didn't catch any fish. I tried worms for a while, and then I went to a small plastic soft grub, but I picked the bright yellow one, and there was nothing messing with that, so I went back to worms this past Thursday night, or Thursday afternoon, or Thursday evening, because it was just so hot. I really didn't want to fish until after we ate supper. We had some super hot days. Well, it wasn't in the hundreds Fahrenheit or anything, but it was in the 90s. So that is definitely 30-some Fahrenheit. And then we had some high winds. It literally, during the one storm, it literally destroyed my one sister's canopy that we have put up in front of the cabin that we used as our working kitchen. It's the the disability accessible cabin. We rent 2 cabins, so we put this canopy up in front of the cabin that we use as our working kitchen, and then the kitchenette in the other cabin is simply backup storage. Because we have more people than what would fit in one cabin. So, in fact, the canopy literally got ripped out. The stakes got ripped out of the ground and sent several yards away. And another group's canopy also got taken out by that same storm. So the day after that, one of my other sisters had to go she had to leave the night before, take her husband to some doctor's appointments. And so when she came back, she stopped at a Walmart and bought a canopy. And it was the second to the least expensive, but yet the size that we needed. But it was poorly manufactured, and it almost didn't survive being put up for the first time. And the stakes are no more than your basic hooked stakes that are let's see, if I turn the tray sideways, see, from here to about where this side of my spork is, that's how long those are. And the ones that were in my other sister's canopy that got destroyed, those were thicker metal, and they were about 4 inches longer. So my sister, who bought the replacement canopy, well, she said she's taking it back because it almost didn't survive a second storm. So it took some effort in that wind to take it down. The wind was trying to take it, but because that one was so poorly made, she said she's going to take that one back and get a refund, and she's going to go buy one that was like the original that we had, that my other sister had for quite a number of years. So that next time we need a canopy, we'll have one that is a whole lot beefier. But once that wind finally calmed down and we were packing things up, Thursday night or Thursday evening, I took my plastic grub off, my hook, put it in my pocket, got a half worm, because we get the super long worms. Because they're so long, we break them in half, and there's still plenty of bait on there. I had a couple nibbles, but I got robbed. What the heck with it? I'm just going to take my rod out, pack it up, since they're going home the next day, so that's what I did. And we had some keepers on the stringers, but turtles were going after them. And then the heat was also stressing those fish out, so they just got released. So a couple of them got, a couple keeper sizes did get cleaned, but the rest were either taken by turtles or they just got too stressed and they went back into the water. Now they're released. I took my swimsuit, but I did not go to the beach. And Nation Emery Finds is here. Thanks for dropping in. Again, I apologize for the orientation. It got switched on me. I could not change it back. I was trying to set up to get a thumbnail and it just launched. And my chat is sideways, so it's hard to read it. I just finished off that ravioli. These are the vegetable crackers. They do not work with the apple jelly. So I was putting some of the ravioli and the sauce on these. Considering the heat stress this ration took, these are perfect. And no drink options with these reduced sodium rations, so my last Polish isotonic drink that I had easy access to is in the drinking jar. And I have a Kenyan tea that is in my delicious mug. I really like this tea. So the apple jelly, or the apple jam, I put on, or no, strawberry jam, I put on my strawberry Pop-Tart. And this is how it looked in the second one of these rations that I opened up. That's the bottom. See where the two have been fused together. And that filling came through the top. The frosting is supposed to be white. And you can see right there on the bottom layer what the frosting color is supposed to be like. A little bit of speckles for some color. And my chat did not change orientation, so it's sideways and it's hard to read. But I do enjoy these vegetable crackers. So I was happy to see them again. Yeah, this happened to the Tootsie Roll. I'm kind of wondering if it had some stress before these got to me, and then they got more heat stressed in early April when my apartment was superheated in order to aid the drying process after my apartment got flooded because of what some idiot did above me. So that person has to pay big time, and whether or not they do, I have no way of knowing. Yeah, the sauce in this was so sweet. Too sweet for a ravioli. So I had some Parmesan cheese that I got from my kitchen and put that on there, and that definitely cut that sweetness down so much. And then eating it with the vegetable crackers, that also cut down that sweetness so much. Got enough sweetness with the jam and the Pop-Tarts and then the Tootsie Roll, and I'll just scrape this off camera. Yeah, the strawberry jam did not work well with the crackers, but it does on the Pop-Tart. I've also been telling about my trip to the lake. We had some really strong winds. The first couple of rounds of the wind, we didn't get any rain at all. But the next round, that we got the wind, and it almost took out our second canopy to replace the first one that literally got destroyed and lifted off the ground and sent several yards away. And another group's canopy got the same ride in the wind. And we found out about that because a ranger came around, telling us that there were storm warnings and that if it got really bad, we would have to either shelter in place in the cabins or go to the bathrooms, which are made of concrete walls, but the cabins are made of logs. They're log cabins. And then the bathroom is windowless, and small people could get under the bunks if need be, but we just stayed in the cabins. We didn't go there. Plus, it would take, my mom does not walk very fast, and it's a bit of a hike to the bathroom. But it took branches off some of the trees. And, the ranger told us about another group's canopy that got literally taken off of where it was staked down. So those two canopies did not go home with their owners. They went into the dumpster. But yeah, the fishing sucked pretty bad. But one thing that we got to do this time was a friend brought his fishing boat down and just let us have use of it for the week. And then he came up Thursday after one last ride, and I got in with my younger nephew and his wife, my mom, and my niece. And my nephew drove the boat around. And then after we tied up, then the friend who brought it got in and drove it over to the boat ramp so that he could haul it out onto his trailer and take it home. And then my nephew and his wife brought their kayaks, so they did a little paddling, and my oldest sister got to do a bit of a paddle in a kayak. She had never done that before. Thanks for dropping in. Have a good evening, and hope you're staying cool down there. I'm just scrolling back through the chat, trying to read it sideways, which is hard. So I do apologize for not really reading the chat. It's just, it did not change orientation when this crazy thing decided that I can't do horizontal streaming. And I did that the last couple of times. And I have heard some noise. You know, it was talked about in Smokey Stream that apparently there's some noise going around that horizontal streaming on a mobile device, if you're not using another platform such as StreamYard or Melon that Wide Family Farm uses, or OBS or XSplit or anything like that as your base platform to stream into YouTube, I don't know why, because vertical doesn't do well for review videos or review streams. I've never tried streaming with my Kindle. I don't think that would work too well. I mean, I could try it, but I don't know if I would have to change its orientation as well. I just may have to do a test. I've shot a couple of videos on the Kindle, but I've never streamed with it. I'm squirting some more of the strawberry jam on this Pop-Tart. It definitely does cut through the dryness of the crust. But then our data service was spotty at best. So, as I said earlier, my short that I put up of the vultures flying over something, I'd never seen them that thick around that lake before. And very few deer were seen around the lake. Last year we saw several of them, but this year maybe one or two off at, towards the boundary of the Lake Icaria Park near some cornfields. But those turkey vultures are definitely onto something, and there were dozens of them. But that short took the whole night to upload, and that was with my hotspot on. I could not make or receive phone calls or text messages while I was out there. I could get enough service to post some pictures, but even that was hit or miss. But even with the difficulties that we had, we still had a good time. Oops, sorry about that. Let me fix that. We celebrated my brother's birthday. So I gave him a new folding utility knife that has replaceable blades, like the razor blades that have the angled edges that have two little cutouts at the top. So I gave that to him for his birthday. Now we had s'mores, and I took a pack of the birthday cake Oreo cookies. But we had pie and ice cream instead of cake. For a birthday treat. And then people were doing s'mores with not only the graham crackers and the Hershey bars, but the Keebler fudge stripe cookies and the marshmallows. And then some were even trying it with those Oreos. And for 2 nights where we couldn't have a fire because it was just so windy, or the one night, the third storm that we had, where we almost lost the second canopy, we didn't have a fire. That was Wednesday night. So Thursday night, we just put all the wood we had into the fire pit and lit it up. And some of that wood was so super dry it burned hot and fast. But even with, like I said, even with those difficulties, we had a good time. We Last year we booked for next year, and before we left the camp on Thursday we booked for 2027. We still have to book 2 years in advance in order to try to get these same two cabins in roughly the same time period. I think those are the most popular cabins. I know the accessible one is very popular. A lot of people want those. But yeah, we're booked for 27. Next year and the year after, the trips will be shorter. Next year, it's 6 nights, 7 days, and then in 27, we can only get 5 nights. But at least we'll get there for our annual trip, and hopefully the fishing will be a lot better. And the county has a lot of tree branches and downed trees to deal with. We saw some of that as we were going around the lake in the boat. In previous storms earlier in the spring, there are trees taken out that had to be cleaned up. So there are a few less, fewer of them by where we were at than last year. So I'm hoping that maybe in the near future they will be able to plant some to replace the ones that were damaged or had to be cut down. Yeah, posted some pictures on Facebook. One picture apparently got double posted because I wasn't sure if it was showing up or not, so I selected that same picture again, but I'm leaving it. But I had no fish pictures. I really wanted to have some, but I didn't catch any. But we had a good time. Even my sister, who had foot surgery that has to be repeated next month, she even enjoyed herself. She caught a couple of small fish, but they were not keepers. But she's got to have her foot surgery done again because the graft that was used did not take. And so they're going to repeat that with a different graft source, actually from her own body. They're going to try that. So that means back to no driving, no walking, no weight bearing. She still has the walker, which she will use. And she still has those boot braces that she's worn before. I think she's got 2 different ones. And then she has an ankle brace that she can wear. But kind of like what Joe of Garden State Gardener, what he had to go through, but a little bit more complicated than what his was. So she has gone on long-term disability because she can't work. She has weight restrictions on how much she can lift or carry. But she has been able to drive for the past couple of months, I think. But my other 2 sisters and my brother, and of course my niece and my nephews, if they are available, depending on their schedules, they can take her where she needs to go. She'll have to go through the therapy all over again after her surgery, when her surgeon says it's okay to do that. So none of us know if she will eventually be able to return to work or she is just going to have to go on to permanent disability, which would be what I got. So that's something that will have to be figured out. Most likely next year, because she will have to take several months to recover from the second foot and ankle surgery. Yeah, those things can be rough. And you can ask Joe about how rough it was for him. Still got some of this jam left, so I'm just going to suck it out of here. I hope you don't have to go through anything like that because it's an ordeal. And plus another in law. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but suffice it to say, cancer sucks. It's not in a place where we were afraid that it could go. So a recent scan has proved that. But still, this person has cancer, and the chemo and the radiation chaser is going to be rough. Having known people who have gone through that process, even the low dose chemo can still be rough. But this person wants to get it done and hope that it kicks that cancer to the curb. Now, we don't know if it's going to be a full recovery or if it's just delaying the inevitable. We all have to meet our maker at some point, but cancer is in this person's family. A few other family members have either gone through it and lived through it or did not make it. And of course, it's been in my family as well, with my maternal grandmother dying from it and my dad. And I've had other relatives survive different cancers. Yeah, cancer sucks. But we will do what we can, even if it's just just pray for that person who's dealing with it, support the family. That's what we'll do. But on a lighter note, the International Food Fair that is going to be hosted by my mosque has been pushed back till later this month. So that means I can participate. And I will either be doing pierogi or salata miseria, which is a cucumber salad. Or if I can get some assistance, because someone will have to go get the pierogi for me, because that would be a lot to carry, and I don't think my little hauler can carry that much. In fact, one person has offered to help me cover the cost of it. Plus make arrangements for getting it. Costco has large packages of pierogi, so I will go that route. I don't have a Costco membership, but this person does. But I can get a mess of cucumbers and apple cider vinegar and some red onions. I got the dill here at home. I got black pepper. And I can get some olive oil. And I got the salt. So that is going to be going on not this coming Saturday, but next Saturday is when we'll do that. So I'm happy that I will be able to participate in that and have some Polish food. So I'm definitely looking forward to getting in on that. I might take some of my Bohuslaviec pottery, a couple pieces from my collection, and put them on the table that I will have my food on. And I will have to see if I can find my Polish flag. Because I used it for an open house display at my mosque earlier in the year. So people thought that was neat. Well, there's Cliff in the house. Thanks for dropping in. This is the third of the low sodium Sopacko Amories. I got the vegetable crackers, which I was happy to see because I really do like them. Had 2 of these strawberry jams. And I put it on the Pop-Tart, the strawberry Pop-Tarts, because it really doesn't work with those savory crackers. But I added some parm to the ravioli to cut down the sweetness of the sauce. And plus, eating it with the crackers definitely helped cut down the sweetness, plus give it a little crunch. And a tiny bit of extra flavor. And my drink choices, the Polish, my last Polish lemon isotonic drink is in the drinking jar. But I have a Kenyan tea in my delicious mug. I really do like this tea. I get it at the same place that I get my halal meats and some other spices from. Some other foods that I got for long-term storage I've gotten at Hillel. You know, and I did my July shopping haul. I showed 2 honeys. The smaller the 2 bottles I took to camp because my mom and I do the same thing, is we actually take honey like a tablespoon or 2 at night, like medicine before going to bed. And this bottle has one of those no drip valve things in it where you squeeze it out, but once you stop squeezing it, it closes up and it does not allow any more to come out. So no leak. So I was actually looking at the honey bottles because I was looking for one that has that type of a cap. And so when I finish that bottle, I'm going to keep that cap and see if I can put it on honey bottles that I get in the future, because I do like that. So my mom and I both do that. So I supply the honey for the trip. Yeah, it's just something that we get to share once a year. And, we're sharing the honey together during our family trip to Lake Icaria. And no fish. Now, we had some bad storms. Well, the first two were just wind. We didn't get rain like we got here in the city here in Des Moines and other parts of Iowa, but we had wind. The first canopy that we brought with us, that got destroyed. And we found out from a ranger that was roaming the camp during the third storm, another group's canopy got taken out and destroyed, literally taken off the ground where it was planted. The posts and the frame where you put the cover on, that got busted up and bent out of shape. The covers got ripped. If you could collect the stakes and salvage them, that would be the only recoverable part. So the third storm, we actually got rain, and we almost lost the second canopy that one of my other sisters got. A piece of crap one from Walmart that almost didn't survive being set up because we were trying to set it up in wind. But that one was poorly made. Sorry, brief disconnect. I do apologize for that. But the Velcro tabs that you use to hold the cover to the frame, some of those literally came off of that cover. They were not sewn on very well, or they would leave a hole behind. And then the stitching was not all that great on some of the seams. And it almost broke apart when we were trying to take it down when the third storm started to get bad. So that canopy went back to Walmart. And my sister who bought that one is going to buy a much better quality one that can better handle some storms, not like the ones we had at the lake, but at least it should survive being set up for the first time and not come apart. But other than that, and the fact that the fishing sucked, we still had a good time. We got to use a friend's boat for the week. My nephew and his wife brought their kayaks, so there was a bit of paddling going on. I didn't do that because it would be too hard with my right knee not being as flexible as it once was. They're the sit-in kind where you have to get down into it, as opposed to the kind of kayaks where you just sit on top of it. my oldest sister got in one of the kayaks and did a bit of a paddle around the lake. But we still had a great time. We celebrated my brother's birthday out there, so he got a couple of presents, plus his favorite pie and ice cream. We had a couple other pies, and I had birthday cake Oreo cookies. And because we couldn't have a fire on his birthday because it was just so windy, we waited till Thursday night to have our last fire. So that was his belated birthday fire. But as usual, we had good food. We overpack on the food. No sense trying to pare it down. It's just not going to happen with us. But we are booked for next year and the year after that. So 2027 is now on our calendars. We're still having to book it 2 years in advance to get these two cabins that we want to use in roughly the same time period. But we go with it. That's just what we do. Lake Arcaria is my late dad's favorite place. He knew that area from when he was a kid, even before the lake was created. It's a man-made lake. But he knew that area from before the lake was put in, and even before it became a county-run park with campgrounds, and then tent spots, and then RV spots, and the cabins. And we don't know what they're going to do as far as improvements other than clean up storm damage. But that's just one thing our family does, is go to Lake Arcaria every summer. We'll keep doing that as long as we can. It's just a good way for us to get out of the city for a while. And Thursday night, we got to see the Big Dipper. As we can't see the stars here in the city. Unless there are no lights on outside. Yeah, Multimagnum had to take off, so he may not be in the chat anymore. But you should be able to scroll up through the comments and see what he wrote. But I did not order any rations last month. But I did get in a small order of USMREs. It was a random lot. This is a test order from a site called MREhouse.com. And it looks like a site that, it's similar to Emery Mountain or Emery Empire, but with a smaller selection. I think it's a new company. I've been getting their emails, so I figured, you know what, I'm just going to give this company a little test order to see how their shipping is. They had some buy one, get one free items on there. They have foreign rations. They have some USMREs. But not a large selection. And then they have what they call survival items. So I ordered a camp shower bag. And they had a Polish emergency candle. The label isn't Polish, so I just had to get that. I thought about ordering the foreign rations, but I don't know where they would be shipped from, and I didn't want to take the chance of those getting raided. So I ordered the USMREs. I don't know what menus I'm going to get. I won't know until I open the package. But I think they're newer production. They could be 21, 22. It said inspection date of 25, so I guess I'll see when I get them. So that will give me a few more rations for review. And then next month, on the 21st through the 23rd, will be the White Eagle Multicultural Powwow, and I volunteer doing kids crafts. And I usually don't get home from that in time to go live at my normal time, so I just don't bother. But I do enjoy doing that, and I'm on the committee. In fact, I joined the committee in November of last year when I presented the wagon that I donated to them. So that has already been used. Then I will take my own wagon as well. So that will make 2 available. And speaking of wagons, my sister who had the foot surgery, she bought a wagon, and we used that to move our stuff to and from the vehicles when we were unloading at camp and then packing up to go home. Since she is still on weight restriction of how much she can lift and carry. Plus, she wanted to test this wagon out to see how it works. So that passed its first test. It's a slightly different one than mine, but it's still a very good thing to have. Because you can move a surprising amount of stuff in those things. So I would definitely recommend getting a collapsible wagon. or a hard wagon if you have to move some bulkier things that you may have to move farther around a property. So when I get those items in from Emery House, I will open that package up. It's in 2 packages from what I can tell from the tracking. I'll wait till I get both of them in, and then I will open those up and show you what I got. So I'm supposed to get the Emerys sometime this week. They're being shipped through postal service. So from what I can tell by the tracking number, those are located here in the US, whereas the other 2 items, the camp shower and the Polish emergency candle, I don't know where they're being shipped from, because the tracking number is definitely not a USPS number. And it doesn't look like a FedEx or a UPS tracking. But I guess I'll find out. I should get tracking updates probably in a couple of days on that. So at this point, I don't know what I'm going to be doing next Sunday. Yeah, our postal system can be a bit weird at times. In fact, we were talking about shipping in Smoky Stream last night. If I wanted to mail a package to Canada, it's almost the same as if I was mailing it to Australia. And for a Canadian to send something down here to the US, it's equally expensive. So I just don't take that risk anymore. And that one time I ordered a US MRE that was shipped from Lithuania, that was a test to see if it would be rated, because it contained, I think, a beef or chicken entree. I don't remember what that one was. I was wondering if it would get rated even though it was a US MRE, just happened to be located in Lithuania. It didn't get rated, so I don't know if I just got lucky on that one, or if they left it alone because it was produced here in the US. I have no idea about that, and I don't know if I'll ever know. So I'm not sure if I'm going to try that again or just not take the risk. It was hot again today. I noticed Cliff posting a temperature. It got up to 96 Fahrenheit here. And it's supposed to be about the same tomorrow. And then after that, the highs for the next about 5 days, the highs are supposed to be in the 70s Fahrenheit. And that will be a much welcome change from the heat that we have had late last month and into this month. Now, finish off my Polish lemon drink. And the low will be in the lower 60s, maybe 58, 59 Fahrenheit, one of those nights. And we may have a chance of rain on Thursday. But I don't think the storms are going to be anywhere near as bad as what we had. Here in Iowa, last month, we had double the rainfall that we would normally get in July. Some places had almost triple. There are a few towns in Iowa that got 10 inches of rain last month. That would be like 250 centimeters. If you measured it that way. Yeah, spicy. I bet it's been hot enough there. You don't need a stove. You can just crack an egg on the sidewalk and it'll fry. May not be edible afterwards, but you can fry an egg on the sidewalk, I bet. And Florida is about to get smacked with a Category 1 hurricane. Probably within the next day. I have a feeling this weather is just going to get weirder and weirder. I watched Suspicious Observers today, and it showed an image of this sunspot just coming in to view from the, the side of the sun that faces us, is that huge sunspot would probably dwarf Jupiter in size, depending on how many others are with it. That one could pop off a doozy of a flare if the conditions are right and give us a good smack. Now, I would not want to be in an area where it's 130 degrees Fahrenheit in the shade. I'm still, it's hard to read this chat sideways, and I don't want to rotate my phone because it'll say, yeah, rotate it back. It wouldn't let me go horizontal like I had set it up, just like the problem that Smokey had last night. I thought well, I could set it up and it would stay horizontal, but tonight it wouldn't do it. And I use an Android, he uses an iPhone. I thought maybe there would be just a difference in how to do the settings, but no. There's something going on that is not allowing us to do horizontal streams. But I'm going to keep trying it. I might try it one more time. And if I can't do it that way, then I'm going to have to figure out some changes to my setup. And hopefully next time I can read the chat without trying to contort myself. I'm going to finish off my Katepa tea. And my air conditioner cycles on and off. Just like it's supposed to, unlike that in one of the cabins that we had, not the one that I stayed in, but the other one that some others in our family stayed in. That air conditioner was not working right. So a note got left about that. But I think I'm going to go ahead and call this one done. I'll scrape this Tootsie Flat off of here off camera. I did this the first time I opened one of these up, and I only got one of these Tootsie Rolls this time, not two. So I don't know if that was a mistake or intentional with this one. But anyway, I'll deal with this off camera. So that will do it for the last of these three reduced sodium Sopacko MREs packed in 2018. And all the unused items like the salt, the pepper, the salt-free seasoning, the FRH, the spoon, and that napkin will go into my stash. I like to save the napkins or rear rolls and utensils that I get from the rations I open up for emergency use in case I have to severely restrict my water usage. So by having disposable items, I don't have to use a limited amount of water. You use from a limited amount of water to wash utensils. I can just go to those, but again, those are a last resort. I'm going to have to dip into those. But as soon as I get my MREs and the other items I got from MRE House, I will open those up. Or I may do separate videos depending on if I have to wait a much longer time for the camp shower and the Polish emergency candle. I may do separate videos on that if I have to wait a much longer time for the others, because I want to have a ration to open up next Sunday. But anyway, I do want to thank you all for hanging out. And as soon as I know what I got, I will make the decision for what I'm going to do next Sunday. So thanks for checking this one out with me. Thanks for watching, and catch you on the flip side.